I'm Danni, that witch next door, and you're listening to That Witch Podcast. Well, hello, my wonderful, magical neighbor. How the hell are you doing today, my darling? Welcome to another episode of That Witch Podcast. If you've never been here before, well, hi, I'm Danni, and I'm that witch next door. I'm going to be your host, your guide, your mentor, and instructor in all things magic, witchcraft, astrology, and witchy business. And if you have been here before, hello and welcome back. I am so grateful to have you here with me in this space again. How was your holiday weekend if you celebrated holidays over the weekend? And how are you dealing with the fucking limbo week of the year? The week between Christmas and New Year's in the Western world, at the very least, I can't speak outside of that or on behalf of anything outside of that, obviously. It is limbo time. And I wouldn't be surprised if no matter where you're from, the week before the calendar year ends, it feels this way no matter what, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, just because you know that like so much is starting over. And I don't just mean like new year, new me, that kind of starting over, but I mean like literally it's a new calendar year for your business, for your employment. Maybe your insurance is renewing. Like maybe there's a million other things renewing right now. Maybe because the calendar year's ending, prices are changing on something that you regularly pay or charge for. I don't know. But the point is that we all know like that this turn of the calendar year every year marks this huge change. And it's really, really hard not to get swept up in the, well, none of this fucking matters. Like this week is a total wash energy. And you know what? In a lot of ways, I think we're kind of supposed to. I think we're kind of supposed to get a little bit swept away by that wave, that this week is a total wash. It's just an in-between limbo. If there's any week of the calendar year that feels like a void of course moon. So like if you've listened to the show before, especially Moon Day Musings, and I've explained to you a couple of times what a void of course moon is, and you've been like, man, I kind of get what you're saying, Danni, but I still don't really understand what a void of course moon feels like. This. This is the perfect fucking real life example of what a void of course moon feels like, is the feeling that the last week of the calendar year has. So for me on a personal note, like I always try to take off the last couple of weeks of the year. I don't really not work. I do take off several of those days. I do actually have more off days but I don't actually take a 2-week vacation. I don't book anything during this time. Very, very, very slim exceptions. I'm going to record with Ashley of Starseed Shadows. That's obviously a magical exception. I am doing the shadow work call in that witch school this week. And, I did it last week for the holiday week. So there's always going to be like little exceptions. So my calendar does have some things in it, but I am recording ahead of time. So I'm recording this during the solstice, actually, but trying to give myself, like I'm really trying to practice what I preach and give myself some time during this 2-week pretend vacation. Again, it's not really a full vacation, but I do try to do some work ahead of time to make it easier on myself to carve out some time for myself, or some extra time with my family, or some extra time with my daughter or my husband. And so I do suggest doing that, even if there's just like just a couple things that you can do ahead of time before. And this can go for any time of the year. I'm not just talking about the last 2 weeks of the year. Otherwise, you'd be like, Danni, it was a little late to give me this advice. This goes for anything. But I mean, you know, those times you put in your calendar, whether it's like a day or a week or whatever it is, where you're like, I'm taking this off. I'm not doing anything. And then what do you end up doing? You like totally fill up the day or you totally fill up the week. I do it all the time. Don't worry. I see you. I feel you. But one thing that has really, really helped me is I physically put that in my calendar. So I actually physically block out these 2 weeks for myself, or again, any time of year I do this, like if I take a Danni day or whatever, I physically block the day off. I block the time off in the calendar so that I have to go in and manually add. So if somebody wanted to book with me, they wouldn't be able to do that from my website because it's physically blocked off right now. So if somebody inquired and wanted to book and I wanted to schedule them, I would have to physically go in and put them in. And it just, again, it's an easy way to stay really mindful about it. So I do that. And the other thing I do is I'm like, what are a couple, not a ton. So I'm not crazy stressing myself out, which is very much I'm a work in progress when it comes to that. But what I try to do is just a couple of easy things that I know, things that come naturally or easy to me, or I know I can just hammer out. I do a few of those extra things ahead of time to make that time off easier on myself so that it is easier. So for example, these last 2 weeks of the year, I know when I block the time off, I'm not going to literally not work for 2 weeks. But you should see how significantly less booked in my calendar these 2 weeks are compared to the rest, like the beginning of December, for example. It's significantly different because months ago, probably in, I don't know, April or May. Like seriously, I'm not kidding you. Forever ago, I blocked off these last 2 weeks because it's something I've learned about myself since I became a business owner a long, long time ago. Even when I was in retail, and this was like this most psycho time of the year, especially for small business owners in retail, I still would physically block off the calendar so I didn't make plans with other people or I didn't overbook myself because I knew I'd be so busy. And that way, if you have any surprises, like during that busy time and you get a little off time or you get a little unexpected downtime, you actually have that downtime. So it just kind of sets you up for success. So little tip there. I think that the Cap energy is already seeping through. How Capricorn of you, Capricorn. Just like, I'm going to start sneaking in these like practical little tips to keep in mind for life work balance. Oh, before we even get there. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, let's get into the school bulletin today. That witch school is a fucking blast. Honestly, just want you all to know at the end of this calendar year, the top of our agenda on that witch school bulletin today is a whopping pile of gratitude. I am so grateful to all of you. I'm talking to those of you that are enrolled, of course, but I'm also talking to all of you, even if you're not enrolled in that witch school, because I talk to so many of you. I hear from so many of you that even if you're not enrolled, you see the dream, you see the vision, you support the vision, you support the mission of that witch school. You have no idea how thankful I am to know this, to know that no matter what, even outside of all of these amazing humans that have enrolled, even outside of that, there are so many more amazing humans who truly see and value and support this beautiful community and all the work that I'm doing. And I really, really, really wanted to make it a point to say that today. And I'm kind of getting a little bit, a little teary-eyed. I am so grateful to all of you. I'm so serious. Like, I do work my ass off. I do. But I work my ass off for this amazing community and neighborhood of people that see that and value it and honor it and support it. And it's like crazy. If you could tell like 3, 5, or 7 or 10 years ago, Danni, stuff like this, God, if you could tell teenage Danni this, disbelief, absolute disbelief. I am so indebted to all of you on such a soul level. Like, and it's exactly why I love showing up and serving for you in any and every way that I possibly can. I am so, so thankful for all of you. So I just want you to know that, like, whether you're enrolled in that witch school or not, you are such a huge part of why it's standing and growing and thriving. So thank you. Thank you, neighbor. We're doing some really cool stuff in that witch school this week. It's always cool, it's always fun, but I'm really excited because for this limbo week, we're just gonna ring in the new year. Like, I've really been keeping it pretty breezy the last couple of weeks as far as like bonus content goes, because I'm really picking up on everybody's vibe and also listening to and honoring myself and practicing what I preach. Like, these last couple of weeks of the year, it's really not about like forcing like tons and tons and tons of new information on yourself so that you start the new year as a brand new you. Honestly, you should be doing what really excites you right now. You should be doing what really inspires you right now and really drives you. And if that's like total fun and like being leisurely and laying back and chilling with who you want to chill with or whatever, like, I think that you should be doing that right now, man. I think that honoring yourself is a great way to start the new year. And if you're feeling like really motivated, really inspired to work on some project, work on some task, flush out an idea, get started on something, like, do that. I so fucking often see people that are like, I'm just going to wait till after the holidays though. Like, I'm just going to wait till after the holidays. Is always a time and a place for that. Don't get me wrong. Are you kidding me? How many times do all of us say that all December long? Let's get together after the holidays. Let's just take care of it after the holidays. Don't get me wrong. That's not going anywhere. We're going to do it after the holidays. But if there's something that's really like calling you right now, like, I would honor yourself. That's the best way to ring in the new year really authentically and really, really aligned, is just by honoring what your soul is craving most right now. So I really hope that you can do that. That's where I'm kind of taking everybody this week in that witch school. I have lots of fun bonus goodies to help you ring in the new year like that witch. So if you're in that witch school, you probably already have dipped into your school bulletin email that you get every Sunday that lists out your content. But if you haven't, make sure you check your inbox. Or if you're a full-time student, make sure you hop on Mighty Networks and check out any of the updates we're doing in there. It's a fun week. I just wanna have fun. If you're in the mood to have fun this week, you should be a member of that witch school. Next door neighbors and part-time students, your content, of course, lives on my website, primarily under the blog. That's where all of the bonus episodes are for everybody in that witch school. And that's also where all of our bonus blog articles are. There's like reference charts on there. There's lessons on there. There's journal guides on there. There's a ton. We are honestly building this fucking arsenal of astrology and witchcraft resources on the blog now because of that witch school, and it is so cool. So if you're in the mood to like have fun this week, all members of that witch school are going to have access to a lot of really fun content. And they already have access, like I said, to this huge arsenal of really valuable resources and information. So if you do want to join us, you can do so for as little as $5 per month as a next door neighbor. You get access to all bonus episodes and all bonus blog articles. And you also get a 10% member discount. Then part-time students, this is a step above next door neighbor, but a step down from full-time student, especially if you are a really, really busy person and don't feel like you're in a place where you really need or could fully utilize the full platform of Mighty Networks. Part-time students is $15 a month, and this is not on Mighty Networks. Again, all part-time student content is on my website under the blog, because you have access to everything that the next door neighbors do, but you also get all replays of any live recorded event that we do in school. So sometimes this might be a collective reading. This could be a ceremony, a visualization. It could be a class or a lesson or a workshop. It's really, really valuable. So since I host all of these live in Mighty Networks, part-time students aren't able to join these live. But again, this is a great tier for really busy people that are still wanting to go deeper into the content, deeper into their astrological and witchcraft journey, and continue learning, and are great students and are able to like jump into all that bonus content and utilize those journal guides and make time to watch those replays. This is a great tier for you. And then our top tier for full-time students, this is $30 a month, and it is a complete and full all access pass. Oh, I almost forgot. Part-time students, your member discount is 20% off site-wide. Full-time students get everything. So they can attend all live events that I host, whether I host them or it's a guest workshop, which means that they have complete access to the Shadow Work support group, which is hosted by our modern medicine woman, spiritual therapist, Reverend Sierra Jolene. She has become such an incredible colleague of mine and an even more dear friend of mine over the last couple of years. Well, it feels like a few years, but I think I've been officially really working with and getting to know Sierra for about a year, actually. It's one of those lifetime things. And she is just this incredibly powerful, magical guide that hosts this space for us in the Shadow Work support group and gets us thinking and reflecting on these parts of ourselves and our experience, and gives us the safe space to voice them with each other. And so easily and naturally, just this incredibly strong support has been just flourishing and overflowing from this group that just pours out into the rest of the community. It really is amazing the impact that the Shadow Work support group is already having. We've only been running it for a few months now, but these calls are weekly and they're not recorded to promote as much safety, privacy, and vulnerability of anybody who attends, which is why there's no replay for part-time students. This is why only full-time students have access to the Shadow Work support group. That in and of itself is honestly worth more than $30 a month. The Shadow Work support group is a hugely valuable reason to join that witch school. But we have we're keeping so much of what you love about that witch school, and we also have so many new things coming in 2023. We're going to have obviously more guest workshops, which you'll get to meet many, if not all of those folks here on the show as well. There's definitely going to be new classes, new courses, new lessons, and something I'm so excited about that I will personally be hosting to start out at least monthly is what I'm calling intuition strength training. And I'm really excited to start hosting these group sessions where we really practice with our intuition with each other, and we build in the strength of trust within ourselves and our connection to source and our connection to our higher selves, and everything that kind of branches down from that. first one is going to be in January. So if that sounds like something you want to do, that is definitely going to be recorded and going to be available to part-time students and next door neighbors. You will still get access to the exercise that we do in intuition strength training. We just will be doing that practice and that exercise together on the live calls for full-time students, and then part-time students, you'll be able to watch those replays, which are always packed with values. So lots of fun coming, so much love going around. I'm overflowing with gratitude. I just thank you all so much for everything, because without you, I wouldn't be able to do all of these amazing and just incredible things that I do for the school. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And now for our final neighbor highlight of 2022. So since I am just all in my feels and all in my pocket of gratitude right now, today for my neighbor highlight, I want to shout out a little handful of folks here. So there's more than one name that I'll be listing. And these are my student OGs. These are my folks that have been in it since the beginning. Some of these people are still in that witch school. A couple of them are not with us, which is totally and completely okay. We are always here for you when you need us. And we always send you love and magic when you don't and when you go off on your own again. But I wanted to shout all of these folks out because you've been with me for so long, long before the school even opened. You were such strong, important, regular neighbors of mine here via the show. And this is a group of people. This isn't everybody. This is not an all-inclusive list because that would be a lot of names to read. But I wanted to read some of the names from folks that signed up and registered in that witch school when we very, very first launched in spring of 2022, in March of this year. And I wanted to specifically highlight people that not only joined right away and again, trusted this vision that I had for this community and this platform, but they stayed, they stuck around, they were active. They are some of my highest engaging people. They come to meetings, they comment, they help each other, they work together, and I again cannot illustrate enough how it is people like this that make communities like that witch school as magical as they are. So I wanted to shout out Danni with 2 N's, Mary Sue, of course, Sarah L, Susan, Lunar, and Cash. And again, this is not an all-inclusive list at all. I wanted to keep it a little brief. But I really, really wanted to just say thank you. You're awesome. You deserve this shout out and you deserve all the love. And I will forever be grateful to all of you for, again, seeing and valuing my vision from the very, very beginning and get-go like that. And bringing your incredible energy into our space. So thank you, thank you, thank you, you beautiful, magical souls, you. And now, my friends, it's time for the cat pep talk. What a special energy Capricorn is. This is a very, very complex, multifaceted sign. And as are the many, many, many strengths that exude from Capricorn. You know, starting with what we know, being this practical earth sign ruled by Saturn, it makes sense why Capricorn is able to reach the heights that it is. There's a beauty to be held in practicality and just building things one step at a time. And of course, we learn this from all of our earth signs. And in Capricorn, the difference is that we achieve heights. This is what the mountain goat represents. The Capricorn energy in your chart, whether or not you have placements there, wherever Capricorn is in your chart, it is a place of great, great heights. And one thing that I think is not nearly enough attributed with Capricorn is you will achieve great, great depths as well. Yes, Capricorn is the mountain goat, but more specifically, and I believe more accurately, Capricorn is the sea goat. And what this represents is the climbing aspect of the goat to the tippiest of tippy tops. The world before its eyes can see everything from literally the top of the world. But that sea goat nature, the tail, if you've ever seen the picture of the sea goat, it looks like a mermaid goat. Top half is a goat, bottom half is a fish. And what that tail represents, again, very multifaceted here, are these oceanic depths. And when we think about that, the highest heights to the deepest depths, think about the range in between. Holy cow, think about the range. I want you to sit with that expansiveness for a second. Capricorn wants you to sit with that expansiveness for a second. Because again, whether or not you have placements in Capricorn, you have Capricorn in your chart. It's being activated right now by the sun. And this means that within each of us, we have the capacity for this grand range. Some might say infinite range. If you go to the highest heights and the deepest depths, will those 2 points eventually meet back up with each other? It's concepts like these that Capricorn so easily gets us to open up to. And I really think one of the beautiful parts of that practicality is Capricorn doesn't settle for dreams staying dreams. This is an energy in your chart, again, within all of us. It is within you, whether you have placements there or not, that says, no, that needs to come into existence. I'm bringing that to the here and the now. We take this grand vision and all this experience and everything that we've learned, and we go, okay, I'm going to make that for myself now. And you'll find that the strong Capricorns in your life do this and do it without thinking. It can be a very second nature quality of Capricorn. And I think this is what a lot of people struggle with, because so many of us keep ourselves so small and so limited. This is referred to as the garden goat. When we're meant for these great, grand horizons to build beyond what we ever thought possible, and instead keep ourselves confined for a multitude of reasons. Thriving Capricorn is really a beautiful philosopher and master of life-work balance. A thriving Capricorn, which is why I kind of giggled at the beginning of the episode when I was giving you those tips that were just starting to come through. That's very, very quintessential Cap energy to just go, oh, there's a better way to do this. It's a little bit different than Virgo improving all of the details. Capricorn gets really practical and is like, oh, if I just do this now in this way, at that time, this is really going to reward and pay off. Whereas Virgo is more of, I see how to fix and solve this problem. I see what needs to be adjusted and tweaked here to solve this problem. Capricorn takes it a step further and says, not only can I solve those problems, I can also be rewarded handsomely. And it is also my soul being right to feel and experience success. Now, the problem is that success, ambition, achievement, a lot of these things have been really exploited, really abused. We've seen a lot of toxic Capricorn energy and themes for a long time, to the point where we've started to just associate those things with being toxic, and that's not the truth. And that's exactly what the Capricorn Pep Talk is here to remind you. If there's anything you do for yourself, going in from this year to next year, and whatever version of new year, new me that resonates with you. Obviously, I don't really resonate with the new year, new me, but there is renewal. There is rebirth. And there definitely is, I'm reflecting on experience and I'm moving forward in this way because of it. And so in whatever way resonates for you, what I want you to do and what Capricorn really wants for you is, can you define those things for yourself? Will you, and I'm genuinely asking, will you please take some time to reflect on this a little bit and ask yourself, what does it mean for me to be successful? A successful life that I'm living looks like this. Write it out. Because that's very real and tangible when we say, this is what success looks like for me. If we answer that, we're not going to say success looks like, I don't know, you're not going to pick something literally impossible. You're going to pick something further down the line from where you're at. And even though you might not be able to see the path and understand exactly how it's going to go, deep, deep down, maybe even know it sooner than that, but at the very least, you know it deep, deep down, that this is not just possible for you, but you're destined for it because you are in the middle of creating and writing that destiny. All you have to do is at the very least, let yourself believe it. Let yourself sit with, what does success actually feel like? What does achievement feel like? What does ambition look like for me? And when you answer these things, number one, you will be just in your Capricorn energy. But you will also see how close all of those things are all the time. How within reach they really actually are. I believe that you are doing incredibly important work, and that what you're called to do with your life, with your soul mission, within your community, within your family, and your loved ones, within your livelihood and your career. I believe that you're being called to some very, very, very big and important things. I think that a lot of the world vastly benefits from you following that call. I think a lot of really, really beautiful, beautiful things will ripple out from you embracing this soul mission of yours. Capricorn originally ruling the 10th house, coming from the midheaven on the chart, which is the highest point of the astrological chart. Whether or not Capricorn is at your midheaven, we all have a midheaven in our chart. We all have this highest point in our chart, which means we're meant to achieve those heights. We are meant to climb. I think we have a lot of peaks that we summit throughout our life. But I really, because it's a cycle, it's a circle. It's not a linear peak that we climb, right? We don't just climb one mountain. It's a cycle. There's many of them, many of the peaks that we summit. But that point in the chart is a symbol for the fact that we are supposed to. And so I want you to really ask those like comparison cycles and those limiting beliefs. I can't do it as good as they're doing it. I'll never do it as good as they're doing it. I don't even know where I could possibly begin. It's not going to look as good. It's not going to look as professional, as clean. People aren't going to like it as much. I'll never get that many followers. I couldn't possibly ever get to that height of heights. I'd never be in circles with those kinds of people. Like I wouldn't even know how to get a connection to get into those circles. Hi, neighbor. I want to take a quick moment to thank our episode affiliate for the day, one of my favorite companies and products to date, Magic of Eye and their astrological planner. If this is not your first time in the neighborhood and you've been around for a while, you very well know how much I love and how frequently I mention this planner. It has been a part of my astrological journey pretty much since the very beginning of my studies. This planner not only has educational support like reference materials, there's basically a mini textbook at the beginning of this planner, but it also just has journey support because there's journal spaces, there's a lunar calendar, there's a transit calendar to help you learn astrology, but to actually start living very cyclically and cosmically, regardless of your experience level. This is what I love about this planner. It's very, very accessible, no matter what experience level you are with astrology. Personally, I use it for both my personal life and my business. It's an integral part of my planning and scheduling practices. Now, this year for the 2023 edition, their new theme is astromycology. So, in this 280-page astrology planner, again, that is for all different experience levels, we are now getting the extra edition of mycology exploration, or the magic and healing properties of mushrooms. And this is absolutely a fascinating subject to me, as I'm sure it already is to so many of you. And the cool part is not only is there a section in the planner with different types of mushrooms and their healing properties and benefits, but they also have an exploration on astrology to fungi connection, which I think is so cool. Get yours today and support That Witch podcast by ordering yours at the link in the show notes below. The fear is never going to go away. It's scary to climb higher and higher, and it's hard to move through challenges. But that fear and that discomfort is not supposed to make us stay stagnant. Nothing in our universe indicates that we are moving towards stagnancy. So, if you find that your thoughts, your beliefs, your judgments about yourself are moving you towards stagnancy, what are the thoughts and the feelings and the pulls that you have that call you toward growth and climbing and building? And yes, achieving and succeeding, because you are destined for it, because we are all destined for it, because that's what evolution is. That's what evolving and expanding is. It is individuals as part of a collective continually growing and expanding, moving forward and building and succeeding and achieving. So yes, you are destined for great things. And especially if you chose to be living during this decade and this time in human history, we're supposed to be doing some big shit, all right? And Capricorn's here to remind you of that. We're on a big soul mission here. If you're in this neighborhood, we're on a big soul mission here. We got a lot of cool shit that we're going to do, that we're doing and starting right now. So I want you to take some time. It doesn't have to be before the year turns. Don't feel rushed. It's okay to reflect on this after 2023. You should reflect on it all the time. What does success actually mean to you? What does it look like for you? What is ambition and achievement, building and growth? What do those things actually look like for you? And are those things actually much closer than you thought before? I hope that today's episode brings you closer to the essence of Capricorn energy, which is, yes, a grounded, practical energy that builds one step at a time. Yes, it is very driven and very ambitious, but in this grand scale. The sea goat is the sage, the seer of the highest heights, the explorer of the deepest depths. Think about what kind of wisdom must come from the sign that marks the winter solstice, that marks the winter phase of the calendar year. The dead, the dark, and the cold. It must take a very, very strong, confident, powerful energy to take on this season, this very necessary season, by the way. So when you want to get closer to Capricorn energy, I want you to think about what winter is, what winter brings. I want you to define success and ambition and drive for yourself, not based on other standards. And I want you to accept that you are meant for those heights, that you are meant for the absolutely incredible vision and mission you've laid out for yourself and you build toward every day. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you're excited about Capricorn energy. And I am wishing you just the happiest of New Year's. Cheers to our best Capricorn season yet. I love you all so much. Thank you again for being on this journey with me. I'm so excited to continue to grow and build and succeed with all of you. I hope you stay safe. Please stay safe. Please have a ton of fun ringing in the new year. And of course, make sure you keep it magical out there. Hi, neighbor. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of That Witch Podcast. If you want to support the show and get your hands on some really magical goodies, make sure you check out some of the awesome companies that I'm an affiliate for in the show notes below. You can also leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes as well as Spotify now. And really the best way to support That Witch Podcast is just by sharing the show online, like your social media platforms, or telling a friend that you think would enjoy it. If you're looking for more magical content like bonus episodes, classes I teach, and support in your witchcraft, make sure you come check us out in That Witch School, my magical monthly membership with a very welcoming private online community. And don't forget to subscribe to my email list for weekly astro forecasts, journal prompts, and more, and stay up to date with all of the happenings here in the neighborhood.